What's up, everyone? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin, John.
And we have an album review for you. So one that we definitely wanted to go over that came out on the 14th of May was the newest offering from Grave Miasma, Abyss of Wrathful Deities. This again comes out on the 14th on Dark Descent Records. This is the band's second full length. They have 3 EPs and 1 demo. They formed in 2006 in London, but before that they had another band. They were known as Goat Molester from 2002 to 2006, and that was a great idea changing that name.
I can't see why you'd give that name up. It sounds...
not PETA approved. So this is their first one on Dark Descent, and jumping on a new label, you want to make an impression, and
they did.
They did. This is some nasty blackened death metal, and it does what I want blackened death metal to do, is find that nice sweet spot between atmosphere and riffs, both, you know, just kind of dreary and disgusting and disturbing, sort of, you know, oppressive atmosphere, and then just bludgeoning riffs. Just beat me over the head with riffs.
I mean, and this record is non-stop with that. You're constantly getting hit in the face with a bat.
Now, generally, I talk about the opening track. But the opening track, I think, is really good, but when it comes down to the heart of this album, when you are just going to get greeted with wall-to-wall riffs, and, again, that creepy atmosphere, which just permeates this entire listen. The tracks Ragyapa and Ancestral Waters, that's where this album really starts taking off.
Jeez.
Now, the opening track, of course, you get greeted to the overall production, which the overall production is great.
Yes. Yep. I don't have a single complaint, really, to be honest.
Doesn't come across as muddy, and it's well separated. The drums sound very prominent in the mix. You can hear every instrument, and then the vocals cut through in a really creepy, dreary way because, man, they love reverb. This guy sounds like he recorded this at the bottom of a well, and, I mean, I get it. But it's the delivery. The delivery is the thing I think is really cool because it sounds like ghastly and desperate. The vocal cadences are strange. They don't necessarily follow a pattern. It's just like, I have to shout something now.
But then again, as you progress through this album, the songs don't really follow a pattern either. I get reminded of Immolation a lot. Most notably Immolation's drummer, and it just peppers in fills and turnovers in places, makes the turnover an actual part of the riff, and this guy nails that.
Yeah. I would say almost at no point on this did it get like static, just because the drummer accented a lot of stuff in here. Then you have these odd like time signature changes and transitions
that are super abrupt.
Very abrupt. They kind of come out of nowhere, and it kind of gives this big unpredictable feel. But Ragyapa kind of breaks out of that, at least for the first part of it, and just gives you a steady pummeling groove a la Bolt Thrower, just to kind of just bang your head to. It has the double time march to it, and my God, the riffs on here, dreary tremolo riffs, and then you break that up with just big chugathons.
Yeah. Well, and I like that, because mostly I've noticed with black metal, as I continue my journey here, mostly I've noticed that there's a lot of tremolo. I mean, you can hear chugs, but they're not as prominent. But in this case, you can hear a lot of a rhythm guitar behind the tremolo. It's really cool, and the way it's mixed, like you can hear actual like pick scrapes almost. Like they're very dominant on letting that syncopation out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, overall, I would say this leans more towards the death metal side. Lots of black metal atmosphere in here, which is great. It kind of gives it that really evil feel. But the old school death metal moments, and I mean like swampy Floridian death metal, like this isn't like Tampa. This is more like they formed the band in the Everglades. And, you know, it was comprised of alligators, muskrats, and swamp ape. I'm pretty sure that thing still lives down there.
Swamp ape.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, they have their own cryptid.
I know, yeah.
They got their own cryptid. Exhumation Rites and Ancestral Waters, again, these songs labor big chuggy riffs, breakdowns, and I'm talking like old school death metal breakdowns like you'd hear on like Leprosy and, you know, again, Immolation again, like Monstrosity, but again with that blackened atmosphere on top. And when it comes down to like layering these guitars, not only with just like the big rhythm sections, we're talking like some lead melodies on top there, those dark atmospheric tremolos, and then the scorching lead work.
I love the leads. I love them. I love them. And in each song, they progress both in length and in content. Like, you get a lot of, like, squealy dive bombs, like Trey from Morbid Angel. I mean, it's
Trey.
It's Trey.
It's Trey.
I mean, it's not Trey.
It's not Trey.
But I mean, it's that. But the leads, just as time progresses, like, they're just so nice. They're in perfect spots, and they're not too noodly, and they labor a lot of melody and just
Trey.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there was pretty much that feel on every lead, and that, again, that's a huge compliment, because he's a guy that knows how to do all the squealy dissonance and dive bombs and weird technical flurries, but then throw in gorgeous melodies just kind of out of nowhere. And you really get a lot of that, especially the last track, Kingdoms Beyond Kalash. I think that song has one of the prettiest melodies in terms of, like, a lead on there on the entire album. But it all contributes in a great way to keep building this just dark, foreboding atmosphere.
These guys are really, really great about building this dark, dank, moist, filthy atmosphere. Moist. It's like a moist, dark, musty basement.
I want to wash my hands.
But yeah, I love the atmosphere created. And in the beginning of Under the Megalith, just war drums, just like tom hits and cymbal grabs and
That floor tom is like 5 feet wide. It sounds massive. And that's an interesting one that I liked, because I think that's where it took a bit of a shift towards, like, doomier material. Kind of slows down the pace a little bit, because, I mean, a lot of this is actually fairly up-tempo. There's a lot of, like, thrash metal influence on this, which I was kind of surprised by, because a lot of their earlier stuff is almost kind of more death doom with black metal elements. This song and Demons of the Sand actually kind of slow it down and bring in these giant single notes that are just heavier than the fucking pyramids. And that is kind of an interesting reference, because there's a Middle Eastern influence on this. Yes. Like some sitar parts on Ragyapa and Demons of the Sand. And I mean, kind of Nihilish, but definitely not as fast.
Yeah, right. Not as fast, but it definitely has that Middle Eastern twinge to it.
Yeah.
After the intro of this song, when that down-tuned riff hits, dude, and the vocalist pukes into the mic, it's just, it's gross.
A reverb puke.
Oh, this track is about as oppressive as Summers in Ohio.
Oh my God.
Like July, the end of July, dude, it's so humid and nasty outside, it's like choking on the air.
The entire city of Toledo suffers from a condition called swamp ass around this time, and don't Google that. Probably
don't
get something gross, but yeah, no. Feel our pain. Well, come August or late July. As for any negatives on this, I mean, I don't have a problem with the vocal style. I have a problem with the reverb on it, and that's only when he's going faster, because then it just turns into a blend of echoes that just, it kind of just sounds a little too much.
It makes the atmosphere sound more evil, I think.
It does.
Because when his voice gets drowned out, when it gets kind of lost behind the instrumentation, even when he is spitting a faster cadence, the way it melts into the atmosphere just makes it sound all the more creepy. It's not really a dig.
Not really. And the way it's mixed, it's not overpowering anything on there. So it's not so out front, like, well, I can't hear the guitars now, or the snares buried. No, you can hear all of that. So again, credit to the mix. And some of the transitions are odd, but I don't really consider that much of a dig either, because generally what they're transitioning into is just another badass moment. And that was the thing, is like, yeah, that transition, it was kind of odd and it came out of nowhere, but this next riff they're playing is fucking disgusting.
And they are. The transitions are all, like, a few of them make sense, but as you get towards the back half of the album, like, there's one song where it just nonstop just transitions into these really weird off-time signatures, and it sounds knee-jerk, but every part is cooler than the one before it. Yeah. So, weird transitions, but awesome riffs and songs. So, I mean, how do you really knock that?
I mean, it's almost kind of a wash there. You're still getting a lot of great stuff. And that is exactly what this album is. This is fantastic. I mean, it's unpredictable, but I would actually even call it adventurous more because, I mean, they're just bringing it on this. The songwriting is dynamic, the production's great, the atmosphere is felt. You feel it. It's creepy and oppressive, and you did the right thing by balancing it out with riffs and hooks. And of course, I'm not talking about like poppy hooks or anything like that. These are death metal hooks, the kind of hooks we like.
Yes.
Overall, this is a badass album, and I gotta give it 4.5 stars. Even the minor gripes I had, I mean, I still couldn't say any of that was bad. It's just something I noticed that I was like, well, I'm not into that as much, but everything else, literally everything else. There's an interlude on here, and I didn't bitch about it. It's a creepy acoustic part, and I liked it. The one thing that I could have really bitched about, and I couldn't find a reason to bitch about it.
There's not a lot of dead space on the album.
No, and the fact that it is like kind of this riff-a-minute style, and it's just haunting as hell, it really just drew me in. I love this album. I have all their previous releases, at least the EPs and the other full length, and I love that too. I think this is even further step forward in terms of songwriting, in terms of just doing what they do just better. This is an incredible release. Oh my God, get it. I already have it pre-ordered because I'm me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a shirt now. I was doing so well. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna give this 4.5 too. Now the teaser, I've never actually really jammed this band much. I guarantee I've heard it in a mix on Spotify. I guarantee it. But I've never really got into them. And I jammed a little bit at work today, and I was like, well, this is cool. This record whoops ass. Again, my complaints are minor, and it would just be tweaking reverb a little bit. I like weird transitions. I like music that makes you go, huh?
Immolation.
Yeah, immolation. Well, yeah, and that too. And those knee-jerk transitions, I just got reminded more of Immolation and how Immolation writes songs, and I was like, well, I fucking love Immolation. How can you knock it for that? The songs are awesome. The tone of this album is just disgusting. The whole time was sour lemons and just... Man, I can't wait to jam this album again, and I'm going to. And I guarantee it sounds great in the car because there's a lot of low end.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, go out and buy this. I have to buy a shirt. I have to buy this album. I have to get more evil.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon.
Woo!
So if you'd like to help us out there will be a link in the description. We're throwing on all sorts of, outtakes and a bunch of extra stuff, goofy pictures, because that's the only pictures we take, apparently. And we have much more coming, of course. And, speaking of other things coming, we have a giveaway going on. Once we hit 6,000 subs, we are going to give away a nice little stack of CDs. There will be a video playing on our channel as soon as you go there, but I'm also going to throw that link in the description too, so you can just go on there and comment, and if you do that, you're entered, and, well, you'll get some music potentially.
I can't believe we're almost at 6,000 subs. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Thank you so much. I continue to love this channel more and more and how it's growing here, and a lot of our viewers and subscribers have reached out.
Yeah.
Over the last couple years, it's been nice to build a little heavy metal family,
It's not that little anymore.
Yeah, it's not that little anymore. We have kind of like a moderate-sized heavy metal family, so... And I'm stoked on that.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the world to continue to open back up, and we get to come out and say hello to you folks and see some nasty shows, and yeah.
Looking forward to all of that. So with that, we thank you all, and we will catch you later.